All right, everyone. Now we're ready for our second phase of our lesson here. Where we're going to be talking about really the meat of spreadsheets. This is more than just data entry. Now we're going to be doing something with the data. So please click down on the tab at the bottom called Functions. And we're going to go over how to actually do mathematical functions on a spreadsheet. Now, we all have heard different synonyms for math problems, right? Formulas or expressions, but in a spreadsheet, we call them functions. So, a little vocabulary lesson, but functions are what we call them on a spreadsheet because there's oftentimes a lot involved with them. So on my sheet right here, we're imagining we're having our class bake sale here. And we've got the type of cookies right here. And I'm going to freeze that row. And I've got the number of cookies, or like the number of boxes of cookies. And you see I have mean, median, mode, and I'll explain how to do those in just a moment. Now, a few things. Obviously, I have all of my cookie types right there. But if I click and highlight all of these numbers right there, so this is how many boxes of cookies I have. Notice down here in the bottom right corner, it says sum 64. If I click on that menu, the sum is 64, the average is 6.4, the minimum value in that highlighted range is 4, the maximum value is 9, and there are 10 numbers being counted right there. So this is kind of cool. If you ever want to just do quick math, just highlight it and it'll add everything up for you. Pretty slick. That's not a function, but that's a nice little feature of Google Sheets. All right. So if I want to add what's going on in here, I need to type the equals sign. So I say equals. Now I need to type what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to say whatever is in cell B2, which is my chocolate chip cookies. Notice it highlights it slightly there. Plus B3, enter. Nice, it did my addition for me. 9 plus 4 equals 13. Well, I can do the same thing here for my subtraction in cell B14. I say equals B2 minus B3, enter. 9 minus 4 equals 5. Now at this point, I change things up a little bit. I say, all right, now type equals, and just click on cell B2 and watch what happens. Ooh, it adds it for me. And I need to show multiplication. Now, do I use an X? No, I don't, because an X to Google Sheets looks like an English character. So I have to use the asterisk, which is Shift 8. And because I am a former English teacher, I always have to go into the Latin root of the word asterisk, which means star, asteroid, astronaut. And we learned that that's just a fancy name for a star. And B2 asterisk, and then I click on B3, which is the value of 4. And now I hit enter, and 4 times 9 equals 36. Now at this point I say, all right, you can do this on your own. And I let the students work on this on their own. How would they do a division problem? While they're working on it, I'm doing it up on screen. And I type equals B2 slash B3. That's how I show division. I hit enter. And then I see, hey, did everybody find the same values that I found here? It's pretty cool. And this is actually very, very easy to do, and it makes sense. You always do your equals sign first, then you hit the enter key. We don't save that till the end. Now down here next to totals, you'll see I have 26 written 2 times. Well, there's actually more to it than that. Sometimes you can see if there is a function behind a number if you double click on the number, and it actually shows you the function inside the cell. Or you can see the function written up here in the top left corner. But as you see here, I've got the totals of B2 plus B3 plus B4 plus B5 plus, and I can add B6 plus, if I click on B7, and then plus, and then I'm just adding, I'm clicking on all of those. I don't even have to type them. And that adds each one of those up. And the total of all of these, do you remember down here in the bottom right corner where you saw the sum was 64? Well, that says 64 there too. Is that a great way to add everything up to do totals? Well, sure, it works, but that took a little too much time. What, about 3 or 4 seconds? Well, we want to save that time. So a better way to do this is what you see here. I'm actually using a function called equals sum. And this adds everything up in a certain range. And I want the range of everything. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete what I have there. And I want the sum of everything in this range, everything that I'm clicking and dragging. And notice that as I'm highlighting different cells, it's adding everything in. And notice that if we're collecting all of them, everything between cell B2 and cell B11, that is what's called a range. And in English, we would just do B2-B11, but we can't do B2-B11 or hyphen because the sheet sees that as subtraction. So to show a range, meaning everything starting here at B2, collecting everything in between and ending at B11, to show that we use the colon, which is which shows range. So now when I hit enter, I have equals sum everything from B2 to B11, enter, and it's 64. This function and this function basically do the same thing, but by typing in a range, it adds everything up automatically and it saves you some time. And I might add, it's less prone to mistakes. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, or your students will probably say something like this. One of two things. One is, this is amazing. I'm never doing math in my head again. And the other type of student would say, why did we have to do this? I know that 9 plus 4 equals 13. Why did I need to create a spreadsheet for all of this? Why did we just waste all this time? Well, spreadsheets aren't really for quick mathematics, quick arithmetic. Spreadsheets are for collecting data and keeping track of data, especially as it's changing. Because if I come up here into cell B2, what if I had 9 boxes of chocolate chip cookies, but someone just gave me 9 more boxes? So now, I'm going to retype over this. Now I have 18 boxes of chocolate chip cookies. When I hit the enter key, I want you to watch what happens to all of these numbers. I hit enter and all of my math changes. What if I now have 180 boxes of cookies? Enter. And everything changes. And it still is adding all of that up. This was the cell B2 plus cell B3, 184. Cell B2 minus cell B3, 180 minus 4 equals 176. So the great part about a spreadsheet is that it keeps up with data as it's changing. So imagine in a science class, you're keeping record of temperature data around campus every single day of the school year, and you're finding averages in chunks of time. Well, maybe you have a heat wave one day and a cold snap the next, and the spreadsheet will automatically keep track of the average even as the data changes. We know this from our grade books. This is what happens. And a grade book is just a spreadsheet, just done a little bit more for us. I do want to draw your attention to cell C2 right here. If I double click inside there, notice this function written right in here. I typed equals average B2 colon B11, which means I want a function that finds the average of every cell in this range. So the average of all of these equals 23.5. Now, you know how averages work. This 180 right here skewed all of my data, but that's where I might find the word median, or use my median function, equals median B2 to B11. 5.5 is the median. My mode, the most common number, the most common value in my range, equals mode of all of the values from B2 to B11. If you want to get geeky, if you're teaching 6th grade math, you might want to find the range. Check this out. Equals sum, parentheses, the maximum in this range, B2 to B11, minus the minimum of this range, B2 to B11, with 2 parentheses there, and our range is 176. Now, I have to be honest with you, I did not know how to do this when a teacher in a math class asked me to show this to her students, and I was stumped. And a wiry little 6th grader said, I know how to do this. And he came up and took over my computer on the screen and showed us all how to do it. And boy, do I love getting schooled by 11-year-olds. So the range. This is kind of geeky, but if you're a math teacher and you know how range is found, this actually makes pretty good sense. There's another one here called mean, or is it mean average or absolute deviation? I wasn't a math teacher. The mean absolute deviation, the function for this is equals avdev, or average deviation, inside that range as well. Pretty cool stuff. And some of this, again, maybe just for math classes, but we can actually use this in our work. Now, I want to draw your attention to cells I and J. I have number, and then I have times 9. And I want to show you this. It's similar to what I showed you earlier in the data entry video, where you can use kind of that click and drag, that pull down feature to copy and paste or find patterns. I have in column I just the number 1. And in cell J2, if I double click on there, I say that I want whatever is in cell I2, which is number 1, times 9. Now, if here I have 2, enter, 3, enter, now you can keep hitting 4, enter, 5, enter, 6, enter if you'd like, but I'm going to use that efficient route. I'm going to highlight my 3 cells. I'm going to click on this little blue handle and pull down. And boy, I can bring that all the way down to number 17. Now, something really cool happens right here. I have said that the function in J2 is whatever is in I2, multiply that by 9. Watch what happens when I pull this down. This, again, is going to blow your mind. Now, it copied and pasted, but it was always looking at whatever cell was to the left. This is I3 times 9. I4 times 9, I5 times 9. Wow, pretty great. And notice, if you remember your 3rd grade times tables, these are all of the factors of 9 right here. Pretty cool stuff. So we can use this click and drag feature to find patterns with functions as well. Pretty cool stuff. Now, our next video, we're going to be talking about how to make sense of the data, how to visualize the data with graphs and charts. I hope you'll watch.